Singular Success.
What if I told you that practicing more might actually be slowing your progress? Most singers assume that if they just put in enough hours, they'll automatically improve. But that is not how growth works. Today, I'm going to explain why some singers practice for hundreds of hours and barely improve, while others make dramatic progress in a fraction of the time. Before we dive in, if you are a singer who wants to stop being invisible online, I created a free guide called 5 Mistakes Keeping Singers Invisible Online. You can download it using the link in the description below. Now, let's get into it. One of the most common things that I hear singers say is, "I've been practicing." And when I ask how things are going, they tell me they still feel stuck. The high notes still feel difficult. The breathing still feels inconsistent. The voice gets tired. The confidence isn't there. The auditions aren't improving. The performances don't feel any stronger. So naturally, they assume the answer is to practice even more. More exercises, more songs, more repetition. But here's the problem. Repetition and improvement are not the same thing. You can repeat the wrong thing for years. You can reinforce habits that are actually holding you back. And if you're not paying attention to what you're practicing, you may simply be getting better at doing the wrong thing. I often tell my students, I've told my children this for years, fill in the quote, practice makes. I'm going to stop you before you continue because you need to rethink this. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. Practice makes permanent. I'll say it again. Practice makes permanent. Think about that for a moment. If you practice tension, you become very effective at tension. If you practice poor breathing habits, you become very efficient at poor breathing habits. If you practice singing on autopilot, you become very good at autopilot. The goal is not more practice. The goal is better practice. Every practice session should have a purpose, a target, a specific problem you're trying to solve. Maybe today you're working on breath flow. Maybe you're focused on vowel consistency. Maybe you're trying to smooth out a register transition. Maybe you're learning lyrics. But successful singers don't walk into a practice room and hope improvement happens. They walk in with intention. Focused practice creates progress. Random practice creates exhaustion. Over the years, I have worked with singers at every level. Some practiced for 2 hours every day and they stayed stuck. Others practiced 20 focused minutes and made remarkable progress, and everything in between. The difference was never talent. The difference was not motivation. The difference was awareness. The singers who improved knew exactly what they were trying to accomplish. They listened carefully. They evaluated what was happening. They made adjustments. They asked questions. And they left the practice room knowing whether they had actually improved. That is how professionals work. You don't have time to do it wrong. Practice makes permanent. So this week, I want you to try one simple exercise. Before you begin practicing, write down one goal. Write it down, one goal, just one. Ask yourself, what is the single most important thing I need to improve today? Then spend your practice session focused on that one objective. Not 10 objectives, not 20 objectives, one. You might be surprised at how much progress happens when your attention stops being divided. Well, that is your 7 minutes, actually closer to 5. Remember, more practice is not always better practice. Progress comes from awareness, progress comes from intention, and progress comes from consistently solving the right problems. If this episode helped you, subscribe so you never miss an episode. New episodes arrive every Sunday. And if you're ready to become more visible as a singer, grab my free guide using the link below. I'm LK Fletcher, Be a Singular Success. I'll see you next Sunday.